And what I'll do is I'll just share this Zoom live link in my Facebook business page. Too many pots on the fire. Is that how they call it? I don't know sayings very well. And what I'll do is I'll just share this Zoom live. Okay, it looks like I'm coming through on the YouTube. Moderation activity is now hidden. Interesting. I don't know what the hell that means. But I'm going to share this on my Facebook business page. So let's go to here. And post. Okay. I think I shared it already. Anyway, hopefully people will figure it out. Let's see. I need to get back to my messages. I know I've been gone a while and I've really kind of neglected my detox group, which I'm trying to build back up. Not all is lost. We all start somewhere, and I'm starting at the ground level right now. So just making sure everything's working. I have no idea if this is even working. Okay, that's on. So I still don't know if I'm on the One Great Work Network. It doesn't appear I am. I don't even know what's going on. Maybe I'll just check my audio here really quick. It does appear the audio is working on YouTube, so that's good. I don't see anybody in YouTube asking me questions though, so whatevs. I have not been very active in YouTube either, mostly because of, a lot of their policies, which I don't need to go into detail about because I'm sure everybody understands. Let's see. Look over here. So anyway, I'll just keep talking. I can edit this and we'll make it probably a short 45-minute video since the first 15 minutes have just been me babbling and trying to figure out settings. So what I began talking about shortly ago was how challenging this past year has been in my life on multiple levels without going into any detail, but family, work, personal, problems. It's like all starting to culminate. And I should add that I am working for my own spiritual health and emotional and mental, because it's all intertwined. I am working with a homeopath who is really helping me with those deeper issues. And he's been giving me, and I think I've described this before, but he does what's called a timeline therapy in relation to how the homeopathic remedies are administered. And I gave him just, a history of my life from most recent to my birth. And that includes all of the birth traumas And even, where my parents were mentally, emotionally, and spiritually at the time of my conception and leading up to that event, I gave it all to him. And so we've been slowly peeling back layer by layer all of this. And I really focused on the traumatic experiences. And I'll tell you, my life has been since 2014 quite traumatic, probably 2013, I would say. But, the shit really hit the fan beginning in 2014. And there was from 2014 to 2019, it was just chaos. I really felt lost. Interestingly, right before 2014, probably 2012, 2013 is when I came across Mark Passio. And before Mark Passio, I came across Dr. Morse. So Dr. Morse and Mark Passio were both quite pivotal in my unfolding to bring me where I am today. And I had, a very interesting and profound spiritual experience around that time when I found both of these men who have proven to be mentors and help me really understand what I came here to do and how to find alignment with my purpose, how to stick with first principles. All of that was, something that I was I really looked up to these two men about. And it was interesting. So I had this really profound spiritual experience. I've described it on especially my Odyssey channel, where I was doing breath work to kind of go through this shamanic journey. I am not very comfortable with using any type of mind-altering substance, so I prefer to use the breath when I'm going within. And I was working on this, I did it, and I had an amazing experience. I met my spirit animal, and it was just kind of, it was very, that event happening in my life. And when you couple that with meeting Dr. Morris and Mark Passio, it just really put me on this trajectory that I could not turn back from. And I started to follow that path. I started to go along with it. But I had to go through a lot of darkness. I had to go through a lot of turmoil, a lot of heartache. And so 2014, that's when I started I would say, the heartbreaking adventure in my life. And that, again, lasted till about 2019. And then 2020, the pandemic occurs. And in 2019, I was feeling like I needed just to go within because of all of that trauma. And I spent, the year of 2019, I guess half a year, really living in solitude. I was just kind of hiding out. I remember this guy who was a friend of a friend asked me out on a date, and I didn't really want to go, but, she was saying, oh, he's such a nice guy. You really should go with him. And so I went on a date, and I just remember feeling so uncomfortable. I was like, I wanted to get home. I just did not want to be there. And that told me it wasn't this guy, nothing wrong with him. He was very nice. It was me. My whole body was telling me, you are not ready for anything. And I wasn't, and I learned that the hard way from 2014 to 2019, because I was in two very traumatic experiences, two very, I should say, traumatic relationships. And they were very hard on me, and I just wasn't ready to jump back in. And so that happened in 2019, and then 2020, again, the pandemic occurs, and I can't do anything, even if I wanted to. The whole world is on lockdown, and that was fine with me because I was still not ready. And I guess I got used to it. I just have not left the house. It's 2023. I don't really leave the house at all these days. Now, part of that is due to the fact that I have a 17-year-old dog. I don't know if you can see him behind me. I don't think you can. But he's laying behind me. He's so sweet. He's got that old man face, a big lower lip. His name is Mr. Willard James McGee. And he's 17 and his back legs don't work very well and I have to carry him. And let's just say I've been carrying him quite a bit. He's about 55 pounds and I have some trauma to my shoulder and it's been incredibly sore lately, incredibly sore. But no, I've taken the summer off from teaching and I'm so very glad that I did because this summer I really need to focus on my own health. So not only am I working with a homeopath, kind of more so for the spiritual and emotional issues, I'm obviously, as a detoxification specialist and naturopath, I'm obviously dealing with also my own health on the physical level. And I'm doing a lot of juices and smoothies and raw vegan foods. I'm also using herbs, which you can use in conjunction with homeopathic remedies. So I'm hitting myself at all levels, the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the physical, all of the bodies that Steiner talks about in the fourfold human being. So I'm just, I'm going to do this and I need to do this because like I said, I've become quite comfortable with living like a hermit. And that's probably not a healthy thing. So let me just see if anybody has arrived from YouTube. Nobody on YouTube. Nobody on Facebook. It's almost like I'm talking to no one, but that's okay. I'm going to post the recording of this perhaps. Who knows? Oh, let's see. My producer just texted me. Oh, my stream sounds and looks great. Hold on a second. Oops, I cannot type very well. But it appears I'm on Twitch, so that's good. I think he was saying that the Mark's server is having some technical issues, but that's okay. I'll make a recording of this and I'll post it. I'll edit out all the nonsense. But anyway, that is what I am up to with my own physical and mental and emotional health. So with that said, I think part of my especially mental and emotional health, I need to do my one great work full time. I have to stop doing things that support a system that I really don't necessarily find virtuous. And that is, allopathic medicine and also supporting those going into that field. And I don't have, I don't want anyone, really, I don't care what anybody thinks because that's a recipe for misery, right? If you worry about what other people think all of the time. But it's hard for me, with allopathic medicine and with many systems in our world. When you find fault with something, it's really hard to support that on any level. So, all of my students, I wouldn't say all, but the majority of my students, I would say maybe 85% of my students are going into allopathic medicine. And so me teaching them has been challenging because I kind of have to stay within the, lane of that system when I teach about the human body. And I really want to expand on talking more about the human body in a different way. So, that's another thing I'll be doing this summer is working with Dr. Morse and offering classes, upping the number of classes we offer through his school to help people get certified or, whatever we do to grant them as being knowledgeable in the healing arts and sciences of naturopathy and detoxification as a whole. So that is also forthcoming, my work with Dr. Morris, and I'm really excited about that. And I need to talk to him about that. Somebody recently messaged me about when those classes will start. I know Dr. Morris had a live Zoom call with another professor of the school yesterday, and I was not able to attend that, but I didn't want to bombard him with the school too soon. So I will be calling him next week to make sure we're getting back on board. Like I said, my neck is very sore. It's really interesting, me doing a lot of these health-related activities for myself. I've met some pretty cool healers. And there's one man who is doing body work on me. I have only had one session thus far. Oh my goodness, YouTube's going crazy. I've only had one session so far. But while I was at his establishment, he does face reading. So he was looking at my face. He actually let me borrow his book. It's called Why the Face, and it's how you can look at the human face, and see how various organs, which, it's like iridology. The parts are reflected in the whole, or the whole is reflected in the parts. Well, we have somebody here from YouTube asking me a question, the euphoric panacea. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. How are you doing today? Feel free to type a question if you have any questions. I kind of got started a little bit late, and I also have a Zoom link if anybody wants to join me in Zoom. I suppose I could post the Zoom link in the comment, but I don't think I can do that while I'm in a Zoom. So I probably should have done that earlier. But oh well. 4 are watching me. Holy cow, I didn't even know people were watching me. That's kind of cool. So that's nice. I've got people watching me. But anyway, since people are here watching on YouTube and maybe somebody's watching on Twitch, hello Twitch folks. He was looking at my face and he was able to say or share with me certain findings that were very much true. He was telling me how, the mother or the father are reflected in your face, the health of various organs. So that was kind of interesting. But I think that, me being isolated for the past 4 years has really done a toll on me. And I really have been craving community, craving connection with other human beings, and it's hard where that only source of connection is at my job. So anyway, I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but if anybody has any questions, health related detox questions, I'm just kind of rambling about my own personal issues, but I think it's all, important because, I think we all need to share about our human experience. And I think that's what makes us human is sharing what we are going through. Anyway, let me talk a little bit about my online program that I'm building. So I'm building this online program, which will include a free Facebook community group. The free Facebook community group, you can find that on my Facebook business page. It's called Detox Support for the Self-Healer. And it will be connected to an online program that I'm pretty much done developing. It's ready to go. I need to start, putting it out there with with a greater amount of effect. But it's called the Detox and Thrive Solution. And this is, I think, going to be a 12-week program, or most people should be able to go through it in 12 weeks. And I'm giving a lot of my best work, putting it into this program. And it's going to be a weekly support for people going through detoxification, where I guide them week by week, and then also connect with them, during the week. So it's not just, once a week thing, but throughout the week, they'll get support and they can contact me. And, but it's going to help people detoxify very deeply. And most of it's going to be using diet, but also if people want to add to that various herbs to support their detoxification experience, even the Bach flower essences to support their emotional detoxification, those too will be used as adjuvants in this program. And the reason why I'm building this program, traditionally I offer one-on-one consultations. And my consultations, depending on what a person chooses, can last anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours. And, obviously the 2-hour meeting is more involved. I go through a full iris analysis, and we go through a lot of detail on, me going through your health questionnaire and trying to figure out everything you're going through. But even though those are very helpful, I think, for the client, I lose people, and I'll check in and people might not be doing it. And I just feel like I need to do something where I'm offering more support and there's more accountability. People need to feel accountable. They're going to show up each week and they're going to stick with the program. Let's see who I have on YouTube. So, Hot Pepper is asking, will this be for drug detoxification? And I understand why that's a common misconception. No, it's not specifically for drug detoxification. It is for whole body detoxification. Everybody's toxic. So we all have trapped within our tissue spaces, metabolic waste products, toxins we've taken in through our digestive system, our skin, a plethora of ways these things get into us, and they get trapped there, and then they become stimulants for inflammation, and we're sore, we feel sick to our stomach. And when that endures over and over, then you might be diagnosed with some sort of chronic dis-ease, correct? So it's not specifically for drug detoxification. People that are on drugs, you do need to be careful, because some drugs, especially if they're prescribed drugs, you can't just come off of them very quickly. What I plan on doing is supporting your body so that you don't need the drugs. Now, if you're talking about, recreational drugs, then, that's a different story, but, it's not for that specifically. Let's see. Is it possible I can join you through Zoom? I have a question about your classes. Yes, you can join me through Zoom. Let me see if I can put the Zoom link in the, let's see. I'm going to try to put the Zoom link in the chat box. How about that? Let's see if I can do that. Oh, I think I can do that. Okay, I've got it right here. Control C. Thank you for asking about the Zoom link. I am putting it in the chat box as we speak. So if you want to join me in Zoom, the link has been added to the chat box. Come on in. Now, I will only be here until about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you can most definitely come in and ask me a question. Let's see who else I have here. Yeah, the withdrawal shakes. A lot of times with the detoxification, as you're releasing these toxins from your tissue spaces and they're now entering into um, your bodily fluids, they will stimulate you and they might cause shaking, they might cause tremors. Those things are very much possible. Yeah, I do not offer one-on-one help at my house. Unfortunately, I don't have the capacity to do that. And as my mother says, most people would not want to be here because I have crazy dogs who are calm right now because I played with them. Let's see. Yes, cold turkey could be good for some detoxification from drugs. Okay, I've got somebody coming into the Zoom screen. So I don't know if you want to have your video shared. You don't have to have that shared. Oh, hello. How are you doing? Do you pronounce your name Ariel? I can't hear you. I don't know if you have, oh, it says you're connecting to audio. Wonderful. I still can't hear you. Let me see. Hold on a second. It could be because try speaking again. Okay, now I can hear you now. Yes.
Oh, okay. Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. So first and foremost, I just want to say that you and Dr. Morris inspired me a lot when
Thank
it comes
you.
to my healing. Yeah, like I take great inspiration from you guys. And because of you guys, I've inspired to become a healer myself.
Good.
Same as you. Yeah. But I had many questions because I take great interest into biochemistry and
Okay.
physiology.
Good.
Oh, I know when it comes to like allopathic medicine, right? In those fields, it's a little, I guess it's a policy for certain methods and stuff, correct?
Well, allopaths, they do have what's called standard of care. So, whenever they are encountering a patient, they have certain things they have to do. And if they go outside of that, that could be a reason they could lose their license. So that's why I am not licensed. And most of the people that learn from Dr. Morse aren't restricted in that way.
Okay. Okay. Because right now, like I completed level 1 of the International School of the Healing Arts.
Good, good.
Currently right now I'm on level 2. But because I was kind of conflicting myself because I'm like, should I go to school for biochemistry?
Well, learning biochemistry, and my master's degree is actually in biochemistry. And I can't say that that would help you learn to become a healer with regards to detoxification. You do learn, about the nature of chemicals and chemical interactions, how they occur in biological systems. But it's like Dr. Moore says, you're getting into the mental too much. And I think that's where we have a problem with allopathic medicine. Everything is so mental. It's all about, the physical, the mechanical level of the human being. And we don't want to just be at that level. We want to look at detoxification as like an unfolding where it's not just dealing with physical symptoms, but it's also supporting the client you're working with on their emotional and spiritual levels. And you don't get that if you have a biochemistry degree. You can, by all means, go for it. If you are really into chemistry, and I know Dr. Morris loves chemistry, and like I said, I have a biochemistry degree as well, but I don't think it's needed. If you're trying to do that to become a better healer, I think your time would be better spent really looking into biological systems as a whole, because biology is not just chemical reactions. Biology is much more than that. And it's also how we interact with our ecosystem, how we interact with our environment. You don't get a lot of that in just biochemistry by itself. I don't know if that's answering your question or not.
Yeah, it does. So Okay, so it'll probably be like, so when you say mixture, I guess like mixture of like biochem and biology and anatomy and physiology.
Well, I think, if you're going into the healing arts, you definitely want to have a well-rounded review of all of the sciences. So, the courses Dr. Morse and I teach at the college or at the school he has developed, the International School of the Healing Arts. Um, we've already put out the first kind of set of science courses, which I call the introductory science courses, which include a course in chemistry, a course in cell biology, and a course in just anatomical terminology. And then we're going to be building upon that. In fact, I will be announcing new courses. And I think the first new courses we'll be putting out after the intro courses will include first the cardiovascular system, so looking at the heart, the blood vessels, the blood. Then we'll get into the lymphatic system and the kidneys, which are really big for Dr. Morse because he sees that the lymphatic system as being a major source of why people are so ill, why people are so sick. Their lymphatic system is stagnant, congested. So
Mm,
that's what we're looking at. We're looking at, how do people really heal and connecting that to understanding the human body. But the nice thing, when we offer this summer and how we've offered it in the past, it will be for students that sign up. We'll have these, I think every other week, these classes, and you will be through Zoom with Dr. Morris and myself. And so the first hour is just lecture, and then the second hour is all Q&A, kind of like this, but you have Dr. Morris there as well to offer his insights, which are really beneficial.
okay, okay. So, and then as far as your classes, right? Because I know you offer classes too.
Mhm.
So, do you advise me to catch? I take those classes right now, or finish level 2 first, and then take your classes?
You can go in any order that you want to. The courses that I've done in the past are up right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll be there forever. If you want to go and be certified through Dr. Morris and the school, take them through the International School of the Healing Arts. I also offer the courses on a separate website at a much reduced price for people that are just interested in learning the material.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not part of the certification, but it will, because some people don't want to, it's kind of like, going to medical school. Medical school is really expensive. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but if you just want to learn some of the things that you might learn in med school, you can take maybe just standalone courses for a reduced price. So I have that option, and I have shared that link with people. I don't really promote it too much because not many people want to learn this just for fun. But if you want
Mm-hmm.
to go through what Dr. Morris is teaching and be a healer like him and really help people, I think that's the best route. But you're going to learn a lot through level 1 and level 2. I mean, that's just like the core stuff that Dr. Morris teaches.
Okay. Okay. Because well, first and foremost, because I guess even in natural practice, was it naturopathic? Did I say it right?
Mhm. Yeah, you got it.
Yeah. Yeah, even in naturopathic school, like I'm still debating whether I should go to that itself, because even their methods nowadays, it's kind of like it's a little skeptical.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate that the 4-year naturopathic colleges, like Bastyr and like NUNM, there's like about 14 or 15 of these colleges throughout the United States and Canada. I think, they're good schools. You will learn herbology and homeopathy and a lot of the arts that you wouldn't learn at a normal medical school. So you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be introduced to a lot of that type of material. But because they produce licensed naturopathic physicians, again, anytime you're licensed, there's a restriction that comes with that, and it limits the practitioner. So, for example, the recent pandemic that we all went through, and I don't know if I'm going to get kicked off of YouTube for this, but they required, a lot of these naturopathic schools required that the students get that injection. And
Yeah.
does that go along with true naturopathy? True
Yeah.
naturopathy is using what we have in nature to help the body do what it already does. We're not trying to add anything to the human body. We're trying to take things out. We're trying to detoxify so that the human body can come back into alignment to its perfect state of health. And when we interfere with that, all we're doing is adding more toxicity. If you're adding chemicals, if you're injecting things into your bodily fluids, you're going to be interfering with that. So that's where, it breaks my heart that these naturopathic schools do that, but that's part of, really the bigger problem is the government, which requires, if you're going to be a licensed medical school, you have to do these certain things. So that's where licensing is going to be problematic. So I think, to be honest with you, I think that the whole world is going through kind of a change, a shift in our consciousness. And many people are looking for things outside of the box, because by going along with what the traditional medical recommendations are, they're not finding the remedy to heal them. And I know this because I've been extremely busy, just with my one-on-one consultations that I offer. And people are coming with very dire illnesses. And so, you can find some allopathic medical doctors and naturopathic doctors that are on our side. There are many out there, but they're few and far between. So there are practitioners out there that are promoting raw foods and various detoxifying types of cleanses. I mean, when I was in medical school, I did an internship with Joel Furman, who is a medical doctor, and he was using water fasting to help his patients heal, because he couldn't find anything else, but he also had a natural hygiene background. He was very much into natural hygiene before he went to medical school. So, I guess what I'm trying to say is that if you want to go to a regular medical school and become licensed, just know that you're going to come up against these types of regulations. And who knows, maybe by the time you apply to medical school, they will get rid of the injection requirement. I know for the college I teach at, they didn't push that at all. So I was fortunate to not have to deal with that. But, many schools do require it. And so, for a medical school to require it, I think that's kind of, especially a naturopathic medical school, that's kind of sad.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason why it took my interest to go to naturopathic school is because my family told me, okay, if you go in this route, because they don't see Dr. Morris's school as like a traditional real school,
Right.
So they say, well, you need to get your license, and then when you open your business, you'll have some authenticity, and people would see your credentials and stuff. So it's like, yeah, they're kind of right, but at the same time, I just.
Well, yeah, I would say go for it if you want to. I think a lot of these naturopathic schools, because I used to live in Seattle, very close to Bastyr, and I went there and visited and to see what they had to offer. And I thought they had a lot of really cool classes that they offered. I mean, where you have labs in herbology and you're actually learning to make herbal tinctures. So like you're growing the plants, you're preparing them appropriately for whether you're trying to create a herbal alcohol tincture or a dried powder, and you're learning how to use these herbs to help your patients in conjunction with what you would do as a normal, primary care physician. Because as a naturopath, that's where you can work as a primary family physician, seeing little kids and adults that have, various ailments. But you can still take what you're learning from Dr. Morris and intertwine that if you want to become a licensed physician. But just know that there are going to be certain things that you might not be able to offer if you want to maintain your licensure. And I will say, many naturopaths, once they learned that, they decided, well, I still have the ND behind my name. I'm still a naturopath. I'm not going to worry about the licensure stuff, and I'm just going to do my own thing. And they just kind of break ties with that. Right. So,
Okay.
Which, you'll still have the knowledge that you learned, right? I think all knowledge is valuable. So I think it wouldn't hurt to go to a naturopathic medical school. But just, it's good to know what you're getting into. And, when you interview with these schools, you can ask them questions like that.
Okay.
Like, what if I become a licensed naturopath, how does that limit me? I think that would be a good question to ask, if you're applying to such a school.
So for instance, like let's say if I get my degree, right, I would be prohibitive to tell a patient, okay, so you need to cut all protein and go on a raw fruit diet.
Well, you know what? I think regular naturopaths can say certain things like that. I think where the problem comes is, let's say you have a patient that has stage 4 cancer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they want to go to a naturopath. They want somebody that is not going to force chemotherapy on. That's why they're looking for someone like you, because they had a friend that had chemotherapy and they saw just how depleted their body became. They became anemic, they lost their hair. I mean, chemotherapy is toxic stuff, right? It's not easy
Yeah.
on the body. Well, you have to offer that as an option when you're licensed. In fact,
Oh,
that's the first thing you offer.
wow.
And for some medical doctors and naturopaths that are licensed, if they offer anything other than that as the first, thing to do, that would be a reason why they would lose their license, right? So there's this thing, like I said, called
Wow.
standard of care. So every ailment has standard of care. That's like with the recent pandemic. There was a
Mm-hmm.
standard of care for anybody that came in with, the CV. I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get kicked off, but you know what I'm talking
Mm,
about. They came in with
yeah.
the symptoms of that, and they were diagnosing everybody that had those symptoms as having it. But the standard of care was, well, first they said, well, you need to just go home and wait till it gets serious. And then when it was serious, they came back when they couldn't breathe and they put them on a respirator, or they gave them something that, killed their kidneys and they ended up dying. I mean, the
Wow.
treatments they were using under standard of care. And if you go and look at videos from many of the medical doctors, they were questioning this. Like, why are we doing this to these people? Why are we putting them on a respirator?
Mm,
But yet, people in the government said this is standard of care. And so this is where the license gets you.
mm,
You have to do certain things when you're regulated that are acceptable as standard of care.
okay.
So when you're not licensed, first you'll if you go through the non-licensed route, like let's say you just want to learn how Dr. Morse teaches or other natural healers that are not, licensed. You can learn from them and learn what they do and be a wonderful healer. I mean, it might even be better just to go to a Dr. Morse's school. And then maybe, I know Dr. Morse is going to add more classes. He's adding more professors, people that are specialized in herbology. So he's going to make it more like a naturopathic full medical school. We just need to get,
Okay.
the number of professors involved. I know he was looking at some of really notable herbologists to see if they wanted to join the school. But kind of what you would do at Bastyr, learning how to make herbal tinctures, learning how to, recommend them for your patients for certain ailments. Same thing with homeopathy, using the homeopathic remedies to help your patients deal with emotional or even physical issues. I mean, there's so much in the world of nature that we have to choose from to help people heal in a more gentler way and in a way that's supporting their body organs and doing what they naturally do. Our body
Mhm.
detoxifies all of the time, but when it gets weak with detoxification, that's when we get sick. So what we
Mhm.
want to do is open up those channels of elimination, get the stuff out of our body, release it so that we can come back to a state of health. But what do we do in allopathic medicine is we suppress those symptoms of our body trying to heal, and then we never really heal, right?
Yeah.
So it's just, you have to be careful what you're getting into, because I went to a regular medical school and
Hmm.
I could see just how the use of suppressive drugs was not healing anything.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, and that's why I, late in medical school, I went to Dr. Furman. I needed to find somebody, and this was before Dr. Morse. I didn't even know about Dr. Morse back then. And at least I found somebody that was like a breath of fresh air, like, hey, All I'm doing is putting people on a water fast, and that's going to help them heal. And I went to work with him, and that was amazing. It was just amazing to see that the body has it within it the mechanisms of healing. We don't need to add all of this toxicity.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and it's like sometimes, and you ask yourself sometimes, like, are you really not knowledgeable when it comes to health? Because for my personal story, right? Last year I got diagnosed with I happened to contract herpes type 1. So I went to go see, the doctor, and he told me my test came back my test came back positive. So I asked him, I said, "Hey doc, so is everything all right? Do I have herpes?" He said, "Oh no, you're fine. Just take this what's it called? Valaxor? Valtrex." Yeah, he told me, take some Valtrex and you'll be fine. And it's like, what? And deep down, I'm like, no, that can't be right, because clearly I have it and I see symptoms and I'm going to be dependent on this medication for the rest of my life. I'm like, no, that doesn't make any sense. And I think I heard more said that at least like what 80% of people in the US or in the whole world has herpes type 1. And it's like they're trying to deem that something normal, which is it's not.
Well, yeah, and a lot of people have viruses because a lot of people are toxic. Why do the viruses show up, right? And there's the whole other camp of not even believing viruses exist. I mean, that's one of the things we talk about in the science courses that I have in Dr. Morse's school is what is a virus? And are these viruses real? I talk about in the cell biology course, comparing them to what are called exosomes. Exosomes are little pieces of the cell that are released when a cell is stressed. And when you look at an electron micrograph, an exosome looks almost exactly like a virus. When we're trying to look at the germ theory of disease, in modern medicine, they like to find something that they can blame the symptom on. So the first thing they started to blame were the bacteria. Bacteria are pretty big. You can see them with pretty good microscopes. So you can see that, oh, there's bacteria. You can test for their presence. You can say, oh, there's a bacteria. You have it in the tissue that we examined. So that's the cause of why that organ or that tissue is sick, why you are sick. It's the bacteria. But it's not really the bacteria. Why did the bacteria show up? Because the cells of that organ and tissue were stressed. And they started attracting the bacteria that came to clean up the job, because stressed cells have a lot of waste products they're surrounded by. And that's probably why they're stressed, because they're clogged up and congested. And the bacteria show up to eat up that congestion. They are there to clean house. Well, the viruses do the same thing. But really what they are exosomes that are just being released from stressed cells to communicate to other cells, hey, we have a problem and we need to prepare for getting the body back to a state of health and helping to, eliminate this problem. So the virus will help to trigger, the coughing or the diarrhea so you can eliminate it, get it out of your body. And, when you become a naturopath, you learn, oh, this is what the body's trying to do. Well, let's support that elimination. Let's take some herbs that will help with expectoration. So there are a whole class of herbs called expectorants. Like Dr. Morse has a tea called 3-lung tea with fenugreek and pleurisy and mullein. These are wonderful expectorants. They help to get that congestion out. But that congestion is what's attracting the pathogens, right? So that's what naturopathy is meant to do, is just to support the normal body, practices. And so when you were diagnosed with a virus, they probably saw evidence using probably symptomology that, hey, you've got this virus, we're going to give you this drug and you're going to have to take this because this virus, they'll tell you, like the herpes virus, you have it for the rest of your life. You know what? That's not true.
Yeah.
You don't have it for your whole life. You have it for your whole life if you continue to, do poor practices, eating the standard American diet, being stressed all of the time, all of that. Those are the kind of things that attract those pathogens. But once you change your lifestyle and you change your diet, then the virus, the exosome, is not going to be there anymore.
Okay.
So these things do clear up. You don't have them your whole life. I think, you have to remember allopaths are used to people that eat a standard Western diet, hamburgers, pizza, French fries, soda, all of the stuff that is damaging to our health.
Yeah, which is, I had to get rid of that. I had to get rid of those kind of things.
That's good. That's good.
So currently right now I'm on a 3-week. Next week will be my 4th week. I'm on a 3-week fruit fast.
A fruit fast. Good job.
Yeah, consuming watermelons, grapes.
That's incredibly cleansing. Those are, watermelons and grapes are probably up there in the top 5 of the detoxifying fruits. So good for you.
Yeah, thank you. And one last question. So I'm looking forward to taking on classes at your website. So I was hoping, how much would you charge for a personal tutoring session?
I do. I think I have on my website. I think I have that as an option for tutoring. I can't remember what I put up there. I'm going to be revamping my website though, because I'm offering an online program to help people with weekly accountability for detoxification. But I need to add all of my current services to my new website. So I think it's like, I don't know, $50 an hour or something like that.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, don't quote me on that, but I can't remember what I had on there.
Okay.
It's pretty reasonable, but I love tutoring students. Now, if you're a student in the school, you get help as part of being a student, right? So that's tutoring for people that aren't in the school. But if you are in the school, I'm going to have office hours where you can show up and just get help when you need it, right? So that's part of the school, is getting the support from the teachers, that you have questions, when you're learning the material, you want to ask questions. And then if you do the live school, because when we first put forth a class, or at least for the science classes that I'm teaching, when the class is first delivered, it's delivered in a live Zoom setting. And so there will be a Q&A session after each class where you can definitely ask questions there. But for students that enroll in the school, I want to offer office hours so that you can get help as well. And that's part of what when you purchase the course, that's part of what you pay for, is those office hours.
Okay. So, and then for when that schools get created over the summertime, would it be like in levels where I have to complete level 2 and 3 and 4, or I could just purchase it anytime?
I think, I would recommend that you take the introductory courses beforehand, but it's not going to be a requirement, but it will definitely help, because the current course that I have up on the International School of the Healing Arts, those are foundational courses. So we go through foundational anatomical terminology, foundational electrical chemistry and cell biology, and also histology, the tissues. And these are things we build upon when we learn about the human body. So you need to learn the human body beginning at the atomic level, and then the cellular level, and then the tissue level, because all of our organs are made up of atoms and cells and tissues. And once you know that foundational material, then you can, from there, go to any organ system. So we can look at the cardiovascular system next, or the lymphatic system, or the urinary system, and study the kidneys. But you need to know about the cells and tissues that those organs are made up of first. Okay.
So, and then when that course gets created, will we be notified through the school, or?
Yes, I will. I'm sure Dr. Morse and his group will put out a notification. If you join my Natural Law Health website, I have an email list there, but you can also come to me on Facebook. I have a Facebook business page called Natural Law Health, and I will be making announcements about that there as well. If you do the Facebook thing, you're young, so I don't know if you're on Facebook. It seems like Facebook is for like, it seems older people. I teach at a college, so I know my students, none of them are on Facebook. They always laugh because all of their professors are, but none of them are.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook.
Okay, good. Yeah. So there will be announcements, but I'm sure Dr. Morris will put out an announcement as well.
Okay. All right, then. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, I'm looking forward to learning from you. So I can't wait.
Wonderful. Thank you for dropping by, and I'm glad we had this chat, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. I will look really quick at, I don't know if anybody else joined me. It looks like there was a nice little conversation going on in the YouTube chat. Where's my thing? Let's see. Let's see. Anyway, that's it for my live stream this evening. Thank you all who showed up. Hopefully we'll get it fixed with the One Great Work Network. It wasn't on the One Great Work Network due to a network error, but it did live stream on YouTube and Twitch. So thank you for all that arrived today. I will post a recording of this on Odyssey and YouTube, and hope to see you next Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Bye.